Thank you, everybody, for being here. How's it going? How are you? How you doing? All right, I need you to be present with me, okay? This is a really important time, especially in the United States. The theme this month is right action, and the topic is proclaiming right action. I happen to be somebody who bases her entire career on communications, so proclaiming, speaking, choosing my language carefully is something that I do for a living. So I love that I get a chance to talk about this. Recently, I was showing my daughter an experiment that I found on YouTube, and I had heard about this experiment from Dr. Masaru Emoto-san, about water. And this particular, his experiment was about putting water in jars and labeling the jars. One with hate, I hate you. One with I love you. And then for 30 days, there's various versions of the experiment, for 30 days, and the YouTube experiment that I saw was rice inside of water in the same jars. I love you, I hate you. And after 30 days of spending time looking at the jar of water or with the rice in it and saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. You're disgusting. To the jar with I hate you on it, and then I love you. You're beautiful. You're kind. You are life-affirming, life-giving. To the jar or the cup with rice and water saying I love you on it. What do you think happened? Nothing? They looked exactly the same? They didn't. They were completely different. They had a different experience with that language. So, Emoto-san, you look at the crystals of the water, that's what he looked at. And the one in the I hate you jar, the crystals were like broken and beaten down, ugly. And in the water crystals in the jar that said I love you were bright, full, lit. Same with the rice. With the kids who did the experiment, the parents did the experiment with the kids. The kids saw for themselves the I love you rice had clear water, and it was just fine. It was just wet rice. But the I hate you rice, not only was it cloudy, but when they took the top off, it stunk. There was a stench. It created a stench. Now, our bodies are mostly water, and we're all energy. So what are we saying to ourselves? What is the language that we're using for ourselves in our head and sharing with others? What are we saying? What energy are we putting out there? What are we proclaiming? So the definition of right action. Revdi talked about it as the bigger picture, moral universe bending towards justice. That regardless of what's going on, let's not be fooled by the facts. There is a divine order. There's a right action that is in place at all times. So what does right action look like? Can you think of a time where it felt like a miracle? Like you can't believe how something turned out. I can think of a time when I wanted to go study abroad during college. I looked at the price tag. I can't afford that. My mom had too good of a job for me to qualify for financial aid. I come home after classes. My mom's home during the day. Odd. She's supposed to be working. She loses that job. Okay, sucks for her, great for me. I get the financial aid, I get to go live abroad. Still, not sucks for her, it was great for her because she got a better job, a better paying job. There's this divine right action that shows up in our life, and if we're not paying attention, we might miss it. Or it's happened, and then we're like, oh, whew, near miss. Thank you, God. Glad we got out of that. I can pay my rent this month. Thank you for that relative showing up and giving me some money, or whatever the situation is. And then we get worried again in like 2 days. We forget that right action is still in play. It didn't happen just in that moment and you've used your quota and it's done. It's still continuing. So that's the definition of right action. Now let's talk about proclaiming. So Google right now, spiritual mind treatment. If you're not familiar with the term, spiritual mind treatment, Google it. And you're going to see there's these 5 steps. And this is how we teach how to pray here at Light Ministries. And the third step is realization, which I personally have had to do a lot of personal work to realize realization. So, what realization is about is proclaiming. Proclaiming right action. Not in a will, in a future, gee, I hope so kind of a way, but like a now. Healing now. Financial abundance now. All needs met now. It's a proclaiming. It's a standing in your power. Now that we have the definition of right action, we've talked about proclaiming. Now, I understand more than I comprehend. Does that make sense? Because this is 2020. It's 2020. Thank you. So 2020. Now we have known and we have been praying for, especially as an Inner Light community, knowing that what was happening before 2020 was not sustainable. And it was not for the highest good. And it wasn't equitable. Not everybody was covered. Not all needs were being met. So there came this time where everything's exposed. Everything is breaking down. Everything's being challenged. As it should be. Apparently it was going to be 2020 to bring all of this to the forefront and make it all visible. Now look at some of the biggest stuff that has happened in 2020. COVID, especially right here, wildfires, now in Colorado, wildfires, George Floyd's murder. What do these things have in common? Breathing, breath. COVID, respiratory, it's about breath. Wildfires, smoke, breath. George Floyd, knee on the neck, breath. In those environments, we lose our breath. Breath is life. And when you take breath away, you lose life. We are being asked to look at these things and say, I choose to breathe. And I choose to help others breathe. That's why we wear masks. Breath is life, and breath also brings into existence what we want to manifest. We are channels. We are vessels. Divine right action happens through us. It will happen with or without us. It'll happen through everybody else around us, but it won't happen through us unless we are breathing life into that divine right action. Are you with me? And we use language as part of that manifestation, and it takes breath to use language. Words can hurt or they can heal. They can unite or they can divide. No one can speak for me. Nobody can move my lips. That is completely under my control. I control my language. I control my thoughts. I have that choice. Language is the medium through which attitudes and behaviors are influenced. So whatever I'm saying, I might be influencing you if you're allowing it. Let it wash over you, RJ. Bishop Desmond Tutu has this great quote about language. He says, language is powerful, which I agree with. Language describes reality. It not just describes reality, language actually creates the reality it describes. Bishop Desmond Tutu, language creates the reality that it actually describes. Chicken or egg? Where you want to be? What words are you choosing? We are recording this 9 days before the end of the election in the United States, the most important moment. Every generation, every movement has its moment. This is ours, like Rev D just shared earlier. This is our moment. I need you to get out of the corner. I need you to get up one more time than when you've fallen down. Use your language. Use your power. The power of your language. Don't be giving away your power to people who don't deserve it. Don't be putting your power, giving away your power to things and circumstances. Don't be fooled by the facts, as Rev D says. And let's not confuse what looks to us like a breakdown, like 2020 is this total breakdown. We might have had our own breakdown. Let's not be confused. What looks like a breakdown for us, to God, it's a breakthrough. It's a breakthrough. After every pandemic, there is a renaissance. There is a rebuilding. Are you open? Are you available? Open your arms up wherever you are. Are you open? Are you available? Are you willing to say yes? Yes. Are you willing to say yes? Yes. Yes. It's yours. Yes. Heather's going to come up here and she's going to lead us in our prayer. And at this time, I want you to feel the moment. I want you to seize the moment. I'm not throwing away my shot. Don't throw away your shot. Come on, Hamilton, right? What's the move? Do I look like the star? Language. What are you saying? Are you creating beautiful crystals? Proclaim right action. It is here for you and is under your control. Be a part of the co-creative process of what needs to happen out of here. Be a part of the rebuilding. Be a part of the reinvention. I need you. Get out of the corner. Stand up. Stand for what you believe in. Co-create the outcome that you desire. What do you want? Speak it into manifestation. Say yes.
Yes.
Say yes.
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 And so it is.
So it is. We're just going to